James Watt. And so thank you, Hounslow. It's also the home to Twickenham Stadium. And if you're a rugby fan, then you love Twickenham. And if you're an NFL fan, you love Twickenham as well, because that's where the American football games are played, is out at Twickenham Stadium. So it's amazing. And now we're coming back through Brent, which features, of course, the world-renowned Wembley Stadium. And of course, Wembley, back in 1966, is when England brought home the World Cup. What a great victory that was. And I was actually out at this beautiful statue celebrating the 1966 World Cup victory. The statue was in Barking and Dagenham. It was actually right on the edge of that in Newham when I was there on Saturday talking with people there as well. So thank you, Brent, for having us. This has been an incredible, incredible day on the Battle Bus, and it continues. We're here all this week on the Battle Bus coming to see you. Please leave me your comments below. Tell me what borough you're in and what question you have for me. But, you know, let me be honest with you. The boroughs I visited today face some real issues, and Ealing was one of them. I went there today, again, to deliver food to St. John's Church, which is an incredible charity. Alan Simpson was there, and we talked long and hard. And he said, Brian, we're struggling. A lot of people need food and food banks, which is important. But also, a lot of people saw the bus and they wanted to come over and talk to me. And they said, Brian, we are frustrated with the low traffic neighborhoods. The mayor is up there in his top floor of his city hall glass building with his balcony, choosing these policies like low traffic neighborhoods. Meanwhile, people like Mark, who I spoke with today, Yola, and Marie on the streets are absolutely fuming. And I want to thank Mark, who came over to me. He traveled blocks and blocks when he heard that my bus was in his neighborhood, and he was literally fuming. And Mark, I understand your anger and I feel your anger. And he said, Brian, these low traffic neighborhoods, they're ruining our neighborhoods. He said, first of all, they fine the people that they shouldn't fine for driving in them. Second of all, they massively increase pollution on the areas that aren't locked down. And finally, they are ruining the businesses that need that traffic to survive. He said it's a massive mistake. They're trying to make money off the residents because of these low traffic neighborhoods. He said the current mayor of London is completely out of touch. Every single person I met today in Ealing said, get him out of office. They said, this man is out of touch with what's happening here. The LTNs are completely wrong. They're completely misguided, and they need to be rethought right away. Meanwhile, the citizens of Ealing pay every single day with taxes, with businesses lost, and by breathing more polluted air. I just want to say to the people of Ealing, I heard you today. I appreciate you for coming up to me, and we are going to look at better solutions than these LTNs as soon as I get into office on May 6th. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And again, I saw some very frustrated individuals today that are not being listened to by their mayor. And I recognize that, and this is why getting out there in the boroughs is so important. Again, no other candidate is doing this because they just don't care. The current mayor of London, he knows you're going to vote for him. He knows because of the party he belongs to that he's going to get the next election, so he's not going to bother coming out. If the current mayor of London had been on the streets of Ealing today, there would have been a riot. Trust me, they are very angry with his decisions, and I appreciate you talking to me. Next, I went to Hounslow, and Hounslow has seen a shocking impact of the pandemic on people's jobs and livelihoods. Its reliance on Heathrow Airport for employment means the borough has been particularly badly hit. Pre-COVID, Hounslow was the second fastest growing borough economy in London. Second fastest. And yet post-COVID, it's down 11%. 11%. Its council's GDP is down because of that. This is a real issue. We've got to find a way to get London back to work, and that's my key policy as your next mayor of London. Hounslow, we understand your problems, and I am working on them. Next, let's talk about Hillingdon and Brent. And all of these boroughs are struggling with mental health, and that's why today is very important. Ben Keaveney, the chief executive of Mind in Hammersmith, Fulham, Ealing, and Hounslow, said that their staff were quote-unquote working overtime to try to support young people struggling with their mental health. He said young Londoners are facing a mental health crisis during this pandemic, with charities seeing a quote-unquote astronomical rise in requests for support, some suggesting there is a 20-fold increase in demand for mental health. 20-fold increased demand for mental health. You know it, I know it, and I want to talk about your mental health today. Just to finish, Ben finished out by saying our staff are working overtime to deal with very complex cases, quite often of suicide ideation and sadly active suicide and self-harm. This is something no one wants to hear, and I want to talk to you today about this. The current mayor of London has failed to protect your mental health. The current mayor of London has failed to protect our younger generation's future, and the current mayor of London has failed to innovate and provide solutions to the citizens. I want to talk about that with you today. But first, I want to hear from you. First of all, tell me, what borough are you in? What is the challenge you're facing, and what question do you want to ask me? Second of all, does lockdown damage your mental health? Is it causing depression, and especially for our younger generation? And also, are these mental health issues going to affect you more in the long term? And I want you to tell me right now, are you suffering from your mental health? Please drop me a comment and tell me how. And I think it's important that we talk about these things. Next, second of all, or third of all, I want you to tell me, do you think it was right a few days ago for the police to detain us, fine us, and ban us from campaigning? And is this politically motivated? And lastly, I want you to tell me, do you think that free and fair elections should be allowed to take place on May 6th? Do you think we need new leadership, new ideas, and to take London in a new direction? First of all, I want to say we are on the digital battle bus. We are going every single day out into every single borough of London. And yet on Sunday, about a week ago, we were stopped. I was suddenly surrounded when I was walking down the street talking to my phone in a completely COVID safe and socially distanced way. I was surrounded by 10 police officers who arrived in 5 police vans, and they said, "You are no longer allowed to campaign." They detained us, they fined me and my crew, and they banned us from campaigning. So we produced a 5-page letter from our legal team that showed exactly why we are allowed to campaign, and we are doing this in a completely COVID secure manner. But we believe that you have a democratic right to choose, and we believe that free and fair elections should take place on May 6th, and therefore you must be able to understand your candidate. We have a digital battle bus, which is completely COVID secure. Every night it is sprayed with an antiviral fog. Everyone in the front is checked with temperature. We use hand sanitization, face masks, social distancing. So this is safe, and we believe that our detaining and fining and banning was politically motivated. We believe that certain candidates don't want us to get these ideas out there, but we believe in democracy. We believe that you have the right to choose, and if you don't understand your candidates, then you can't make a choice, and you're going to get 3 more years of the same nonsense that we're all struggling with for the past 12 months. The people of Ealing definitely don't want. They want a new mayor. They all told me that today, and that's why we're out here on the campaign trail, coming out to see every single borough in London, and that's what we're going to do. We've got 5 days left on this tour, and we're going to come to see every single borough in this city, and we're super excited. The truth is this: your current mayor has been unelected for nearly a year. Unelected. That's undemocratic in my opinion, because they postponed the elections. We want free and fair elections so you can have a leader that you can hold accountable, and that's what we're going to do right now. And now I want to talk about today's topics. First of all, the current mayor of London has failed to protect our mental health. The current mayor of London has failed to look out for our younger generation, and the current mayor of London has proven that he cannot innovate or provide new ideas for the citizens. Let's look at some of the numbers, and then I want to go to your questions and comments. First of all, we've seen increased depression, with levels doubling in depression, doubling since February pre-COVID lockdown. We've seen a 73% surge in eating disorders, and that goes even higher amongst our younger generation. We've seen an increase in anxiety, an increase in loneliness, an increase in panic, an increase in hopelessness, of which many of us experienced. And please leave me a comment right now and tell me if you felt this. I want to hear your comments. Sometimes just talking about it is really important. And we've also seen a jump in suicide rates to all-time highs. And so I want to hear from you right now. I want to hear your questions and hear how you're struggling. I want to go to you and find out what's happening with your boroughs on the ground as well. And we've got tons of comments coming in here. Again, all of your comments are coming straight to my iPad here, and I'm going to read them out while we speak. I've got a couple that came from our website. And by the way, you can go to brianformayor.london/bus and leave your comments on the website. I've got one now here. Giuseppe in Ealing, which I was in just a couple hours ago, says, "Hello, Brian Rose. Unfortunately, today I have not met you. I'm sorry I missed you, Giuseppe." He says, "I have been waiting at Ealing Common, and I hope you will be the mayor of London, as we can only trust independent people rather than organizations." And that's a great point, Giuseppe. I agree with you. He goes on to say, quote, "I wanted to ask you one question. You have interviewed many great people," and he's talking about London Real, which is my show I've had for the past 10 years. Again, 500 million views on YouTube. I've had conversations I broadcast for free with over 1,000 of the greatest minds on the planet. So thank you for watching, Giuseppe. He goes on to say, quote, "My question is, how do you think you will change from the inside? And also, an ordinary person that could do this to make this happen. I wish you all the best of luck." And Giuseppe, it's a great question. The best way to change, I think, and the best things we can do for our community is to be of service. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I've been doing that with London Real for the past 10 years. And as your next mayor of London, I plan on being service to this community. Giuseppe, I think the best way we can change is to try to be of service to other people around us. I met with Mohammed today in Hounslow, who runs the Hounslow Soup Kitchen. And his entire ethos is to give back to others and to give with love and to come from the heart. And I was so impressed with him. You know, we gave him a small donation, 50 kilograms of rice and, I think about 50 chickens and a bunch of tinned veg and of other things so he can do his charity. But it's all about being of service, and we can do it with our families, with our friends, with our community. Even bringing our best energy every day is the way we can serve others. So Giuseppe, it's a great question, and I look forward to serving you as your next mayor of London. I've got Linda from Hounslow, asked via the website. She said, quote, "What plans will you be looking at to support the homeless? What funding for caseworkers and support to retrain, etc.? Thank you for standing." And it's a great question that you asked, though, because I was speaking with Mohammed today in Hounslow and talking about the homeless situation. He said, "Brian, the most important thing we can do is, first of all," he's like, "I don't use that word, the homeless. I call them our guests or our customers." He said, "I think the way is you look at these people as if they are you, because a lot of them are us." And he said, "I've met people that own their own homes who still need food from me. Right now, everyone is struggling. And I think we need to stop looking at homeless people as people that are different from us. We need to look at them as human beings and as our fellow citizens." Last year, my wife, Mariana, she cooked 6 turkeys, and we've fed them to over 100 homeless people, or guests, as Mohammed would say, at our local charity right in Shoreditch, where London Real Studios are. And you meet and you sit and you talk to these people. First of all, they just need a conversation sometimes. They need to know that someone cares. They need to know that there's some love out there, and they need to start a conversation so we can start helping some of their problems. Some of that is housing. So my plan to build affordable housing will make a big difference. Some of that is getting the economy back. When they have opportunities for jobs, that's important. But some of it is just having conversations so we can find ways for them to get off the street, to beat addiction, and to help them with their mental health issues. And so a lot of it is just having that conversation, strengthen the economy, building more homes, and also just providing more hope for this city. So it's a great question, Linda. We have a lot of ideas and plans about how we can take this to the next level. I got some great comments coming in here from Instagram. I've got Ray Dillon on Instagram, says, "Mental health needs are going through the roof." You're so correct, Rob. Rob Dillian, you're so right. I've got Sanjeev on Instagram saying, "You're the man, Brian. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate this." I've got Adinamov on Instagram says, "Is this a car or a house?" It's a great question. This is a digital battle bus, all right? This is the next level of your next mayor coming to you in a COVID secure way, but still going to your boroughs. We are live back here coming through Brent as we speak, and we appreciate you. Ben says, "Brian, quote, how do you stay motivated every day, Brian? The truth is, you make me motivated. The 9 million citizens of London, you give me this incredible energy. When I meet you in the streets, I can tell that you need me. You need our help. You need solutions. You need a mayor that's going to take us to the next level." So honestly, you're the ones that inspire me every day, and I really appreciate you. I've got Sochacharya on Instagram says, "Brian, when are you coming to Enfield?" We are coming to Enfield on Wednesday. So in 2 days from now, we're coming through Enfield. And again, we need you out there. Honk your horn when you see our battle bus. Print out the posters, Brian for Mayor, and put them up in your windows. And you can get all of these on our website, brianformayor.london/share. You can print out our posters, you can share our videos, you can share our social posts, share our pictures, and I appreciate you. I've got Paulwin Sannon on YouTube says, hey Brian, I saw your bus earlier while walking down Hounslow Heath. It added a bit of color to this dull town. Hashtag Brian for Mayor. Thank you, Pawan. I appreciate you. We are coming to your neighborhood. When you see the bus, make sure you honk, take a picture, tweet it out to us, post it on Instagram. Let us know you're there. We really appreciate you. I got police sirens coming by me. I think we're okay for now. There they go. Those are the sirens. Okay, looks like they're not stopping us. But look, either way, we're going to keep campaigning no matter what. The police seems like they've just gone by us. But look, we are prepared to be stopped. They can detain us. They can arrest us if they want. But we believe we have the right to ensure that you have free and fair elections on May 6th. We believe in democracy. So if you do, share this video, give us a comment, let us know what you think, because we appreciate you very much. A couple of the comments here, and I want to get back to the topic. We've got the Phoenix on Instagram that says, I am voting for you, sir. I've got Boss of Harrowtown, I think it is. YouTube says, quote, when are you coming to Merton, Brian? We are coming tomorrow to the borough of Merton, so we appreciate you, Boss. I got Lewis Brooks, who says, never voted in my life, but I will for you, Brian. Good man. And this is an important point, Lewis. I'm glad you brought it up. A lot of people stop me in the streets and say, Brian, we want you to become the next mayor. And then I say, okay, vote on May 6th. And they said, I don't vote. I don't believe in voting. And I'm like, well, you can't wish me into office. So let me just say this. If you don't vote for me on May 6th, then we have no chance of changing London as we know it. You've got to vote. If you're not registered to vote, go to votefirst.london. It takes 5 minutes. You can register to vote. And then on May 6th, we need every single person going to the ballots. That means you, your friends, your family. Share this video, share this message. Get them to register and get them to vote. That's the only chance we stand. We are going against a big two-party system. We are going against parties with hundreds of years of history, tens of millions of pounds of funding. The only way we can do this is if we all get out there and vote, so make sure you do. And Lewis, I know you will as well. A couple more points here. I got Max Hamilton Mackenzian on YouTube that says, quote, we need to get rid of career politicians. I agree with you, Max. Let's get rid of them. We need people who have the best ideas and represent the citizens. I don't trust these career politicians. It seems like for our current mayor, he's using this as a means to his next job. And again, I'm tired of the two-party system. The more I learn about it, the more it disgusts me. Let's get an independent voice. Let's get new ideas. A couple more questions here. I've got Akasha Temple on Instagram saying, thank you, Brian. We love you. Thank you for everything you are and represent and do. Thank you. And I got Sarah on Instagram that says, quote, our upcoming London mayor, I met you 2 years ago at an event. I'm so happy you will be our next mayor of London. Thank you, Sarah. And I got Luke Camp says on YouTube, quote, on the subject of mental health, I was wondering, how do you maintain such a powerful command of your energy and keep it positively charged in such trying circumstances? Luke, it's a great question. And look, I struggle every single day when we're locked down, when we don't have a way out of this, when our leaders seem to be making decisions that aren't in our interests. What I do is I have a daily process. I have great people around me. I have great energy. And honestly, I get to serve all of you. When we're of service to others, we gain a lot of strength. And these are issues I'm going to be talking about as your next mayor of London, so we can all do more of this. Thank you, Luke. I appreciate you and I appreciate your support. So I want to go and talk more about today's topic. And the truth is this. Your current mayor of London is failing to protect your mental health. He's also failing to invest in our younger generation, and he's failing to innovate and provide solutions for our citizens. Let's look at some of these numbers because it's very sad indeed. We are currently facing a spiraling out of control mental health crisis. According to the Office of National Statistics, depression has doubled. Almost 1 in 5 adults, currently 19.2%, are currently experiencing some form of depression right now. Now, to put that in perspective, that's up from 9.7% of adults, or around 1 in 10, that were feeling that in February before the pandemic. But it gets worse. We've seen a rise in eating disorders. And BEAT, which is a charity for people with eating disorders in the UK, has seen a 73% surge in people accessing its services for help. And that means it's needed because this increased time that we spend with family, with a lack of gym facilities and an upset to our routine, can intensify our mental health issues. And leave me a comment right now if you feel that this lockdown has made your mental health worse. Sometimes we're locked up with family. Sometimes we're forced to work from home. Our children can't go to school, and that makes depression, that makes struggles with eating disorders even worse. So leave me a comment if you're struggling with this right now. But the problem is that for our younger generation, it gets even worse. And BEAT has said that the crisis is hitting our youngest generation the hardest, meaning that there is a doubling of urgent referrals for children with eating disorders right now as we speak. So again, I want you to type in and give me a comment right now. Tell me, have you felt an increase in depression? Have you felt an increase in a struggle with your mental health? Again, almost 1 in 5 adults, or 19.2%, are currently experiencing some form of depression right now. We're all struggling with different ways of coping with it, and I want to know how you're feeling right now. Please answer the following questions for me. First of all, tell me, what borough do you live in? And tell me, what's the biggest challenge you're facing, and what's the question you want to ask me? Second of all, answer this question. Does lockdown damage your mental health? Is it causing depression, especially for our younger generation? Also, are these mental health issues going to hurt us more in the long term, and are you suffering? Do you think it was right for the police last Sunday to detain us, to fine us, and ban us from campaigning, and is it politically motivated? And finally, do you think that free and fair elections should take place on May 6th? And do we need new leadership, new ideas, and do we need to take London in a new direction? I want to go to your comments right now, and there's a lot of them coming through. First of all, there's a few from our website, and I really want to call these out. There's some excellent ones here. We've got Tracy in Barking and Dagenham that says this, quote, wow, this is really heavy. Tracy in Barking says this, quote, having had 2 sons stabbed, I lost my nephew, who was only 31 on New Year's Eve, stabbed to death. Wow, this is hard to read, Tracy. Knife crime needs intelligence addressing and knife detecting equipment for all police to carry. Better funding for police. Tracy goes on to say, do you intend to do this, as my nephew is in the chapel of rest now? This could have been avoided if police did better security checks on people and put orders on them to keep apart when police are called. Our family is devastated with this tragedy, unquote. And I just must say, Tracy, I have to say I'm so sorry that this happened for you. It's really even just hard actually to read this out. 2 sons stabbed and lost your nephew on New Year's Eve. I mean, this is very hard to hear, Tracy. And it shows how much you know it's important that we start to look more seriously about how we police our communities. And she's calling out for better ways to search for people if they're holding knives. She's searching out for better ways for us to police our communities. And I was speaking with a man named Dean Okai, and I spoke to him after I spoke at Homerton back in November and December, when we were allowed to go to community events. And Dean came up to me afterwards and he said, Brian, I spoke with senior members of the police, and he said even they have said we can't police our way out of knife crime. And I also said, when I was on stage, I said this, and maybe this will mean something to you, Tracy. I said, when teenagers are stabbing teenagers, it's not their fault, it's our fault, because we've failed as members of our community. We failed to get the right policing. And the problem is very complex, but it means a few things. First of all, we need more police on the ground. Second of all, we need to enable police to make sure that knives are not part of our community, which means we need zero tolerance policy for anyone carrying a knife. But we also need more options for our children in our communities, which means we have to reopen our community centers. Under the current mayor, he has closed down community centers. He shut them down. He shut down their budgets. We've got to find new ways of investing in our community centers, which is why I know that corporate investment in our community centers will mean our younger children have other options. It also means that we can use those funds to give them other things that they can do. We can also better fund our police, which means they can have more police officers on the street and they can better search for these things. Again, this is at nightmare proportions. The current mayor of London just had his 100th teenager murdered on his watch. Every year the current mayor has been in office, we've seen night crime rise and rise and rise and rise. And Tracy is one of the many citizens that is suffering from this, and it is unacceptable. And I promise that we will find solutions, and that means more police on the ground. That means empowering the police with more technology and more ways to police the community. That means empowering our communities with more and better funded community centers. And Tracy, it means making sure this no longer happens. London, you know, it really leads the world when it comes to these horrendous knife crime statistics, and we've got to take ownership of it, and we need a change of leadership, or we're going to have 3 more years of the current mayor and his shocking statistics. So Tracy, I probably speak for all of us. We're sending out all of our energy and all of our condolences to you, and all I can say is, as your next mayor of London, I'm going to solve these problems, and I'm going to stop giving you excuses, and I'm going to stop blaming other people, which is all our current mayor does. So thank you for your comments, and we're sending out your support as well. All right, some other comments coming here. I want to read them out. When it comes to this, a few things coming here on Instagram. I've got Lolo on Instagram says, quote, Brian, thank you for stepping up for London. I'm very excited for you and pray that you can turn around these horrible situations there in your town. And it's true, Lolo, you've heard from Tracy. We are really looking down at horrible situations, and you've got to look to the top. The current mayor of London must take ownership for his repeated failures in knife crime, his repeated failures on the economy, his repeated failures at bankrupting our transport system, his failures at not building affordable homes. I can't think much that this mayor has done correctly, and we believe we can change all of that with new ideas, and I plan on taking London in a new direction. I've got John McGinley on Instagram that says, quote, have you visited Bromley? And yes, I have. We were there on Saturday, actually, and we're planning our next Battle Bus tour, and we're going to be back in Bromley. But yes, we were there. We were touring all around there and went through all of these very important boroughs, and we're going to be back, I promise you. We had an incredible run through Croydon and Bromley and Bexley and all sorts of other places, and we're going to be back as well. I've got Bimbardi on Instagram that says, keep campaigning. When are you coming to Hounslow again? I'll be campaigning for you. Trust me, we're going to be back to all the boroughs in the next few months. I've got Pharaoh London saying, will you fight corruption? It's a great question. The beauty of being an independent candidate is that I don't come from a two-party system. I don't come from a party that already is part of backroom deals and corporate donors and career politicians. I don't come from any of that. So I don't have to deal with any of these situations. I come with the best ideas, and I'm looking to improve the situation on the ground. I've got 320D Lewis says, quote, huge fan of you. I got Stars on Instagram says, quote, I convinced my parents to vote for you. Thank you, Stars. I appreciate you. I got Warrior on Instagram says, quote, many people are becoming depressed, especially teens and the elderly. And I've got Bimbardi on Instagram says, quote, housing, police, and mental health, huge problems in the borough of Hounslow. I hear that and I see that, and we are here on the ground to find out what the problems are, and we want to find out how we can help. So thank you for your comment. And finally, we've got Super Azair on Instagram says, when's the debate happening? And Super Azair, you brought up a point that so many people are asking me about, and that is this. Mayor Sadiq Khan, when will you debate me? When will you debate Brian Rose? I am the only potential real challenge to you for mayor, and I'm asking you, our mayor of London, when will you debate me? And I'll give you a few options. I'll give you 3 options. You can debate me anywhere, anytime, anyhow. Those are your 3 options. You can send me a Zoom link right now, and I will debate you right now. You can choose your mainstream media outlet of choice, maybe one that even usually supports your viewpoints. I'll go there. Again, any place, anyhow, I'm there. I want to talk about the facts. I want to talk about the data. I want to talk about your failings as a mayor. Let's let the people decide. So I'm ready. And for anybody else out there that wants to see this debate happen, ask your mayor right now, when is this debate happening? Go to his social media feeds. If you see him out, ask him. If you go to his mayor question time, say, when will you debate Brian Rose? And why won't you debate Brian Rose? I'm asking that too. I don't know why he doesn't want to debate me. Maybe there's a reason. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want me to bring up these facts in a live debate situation. Maybe he can't answer to his failings when it comes to housing, knife crime, transport being bankrupt, not getting our city back to work. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Ask the mayor, but let's find a time we can do this debate. I want to make my final points about the shocking state of where we are right now when it comes to our mental health. And it's quite simple, and the truth is really this. We are in a dire circumstance when it comes to our mental health. We're facing some real issues here. But the truth is that our current mayor of London has failed to protect our mental health. He's failed to look after our younger generation, and he's failed to innovate and provide solutions to our citizens. And it comes down to a lot of issues, and one of them, or a few of them, are anxiety, loneliness, panic, and hopelessness. Approximately half of the population here, 49%, have felt anxious or worried in the past 2 weeks. More than 1 in 5 people, that's 21%, have felt lonely in the previous 2 weeks. 1 in 6 people, that's 17%, have felt hopeless in the previous 2 weeks. And 1 in 8 people, that's 12%, have felt panicked in the previous 2 weeks. If that's you, please leave me a comment in the chat right now. Tell me if you felt this way. Sometimes it's good just to talk about it. Tell me if you're experiencing these things. Things are real. These are mental health issues that your current mayor is not addressing. He is using fear as a weapon. In my opinion, he is promoting these feelings of poor mental health, anxiety, loneliness, and panic and hopelessness with his lack of solutions, lack of a plan, and lack of a roadmap out of this pandemic. But it gets worse. Suicide. And recently, someone from the London Ambulance Service tweeted this out, and they said this, quote, "Sadly, the number of suicide and attempted suicide incidents we attend are increasing." And they went on to say, quote, "Our crews now attend an average of 37 suicides, or attempted suicides per day." That's right here in London, compared to 22 in 2019 and only 17 5 years ago. Imagine that, going from 17 to 37 in only 5 years. This clearly shows we have a problem. And the Samaritans, which is the largest mental health charity here in the UK, describes this trend, particularly amongst young people, as quote unquote extremely worrying. All right. And it goes on to be worse, because the proportion of people who have experienced suicidal thoughts or feelings was approximately 10%. 10% of the people have experienced suicidal thoughts or feelings like that. But young people, it gets even worse. If you are aged 18 to 24, that number goes up to 19%. And if you are aged 25 to 34, you are significantly more likely to report suicidal thoughts and feelings. And it gets even worse. 1 in 5 unemployed people now, that's 21%, have reported suicidal thoughts and feelings. And so we're all feeling anxious and depressed. But it's nearly double for those of us that are unemployed, and so many of us are now. We see no roadmap out of this current problem. We don't have a mayor that has any proposal or ideas on how to get London back to work. We don't see any roadmap from our mayor or our prime minister of how we're going to get out of this crisis. And the problem is, this all leads to our mental health and struggles with our mental health. That's why my policy of Get London Back to Work is not just about the economy. It's not just about bringing jobs back. It's not about bringing businesses back. It's not about saving our small and medium-sized enterprises, which are responsible for 98% of the businesses here in London. My policy of Get London Back to Work is to strengthen our mental health. This is so crucial. We've got to have some hope. And I was speaking with Marie today in Ealing, and she said, "Brian, I run a beauty parlor right on Ealing High Street." She said, "I've run this for 46 years. She said, "We were operating in a COVID-safe way." She said, "They gave me 30 minutes to shut down my shop in the last lockdown." She said 30 minutes. She said, "Brian, we put up the barriers. We did everything right." And I said, "I understand." I said, "Hospitality venues and service venues like yours are only responsible for 3%. According to Public Health England's own data, 3% of transmissions. and yet they shut her businesses down and are not giving her any roadmap into the future. And she said, Brian, you've got to give us some hope. You've got to give us some type of indication of when we can come out of this lockdown. I said, I know how you feel. You've got to hire individuals. You've got to invest capital. You've got to pay for advertising. She says, yes, I want to get back in business. I need it for my mental health. I need it for the community. I need it for my employees. And so that's why my policy of getting London back to work is more than just economics. It's more than just entrepreneurs. It's more than just about jobs. It's providing solutions to our mental health and something our communities so desperately need. And so I want to hear from you. This will be the final time I ask these questions, but please answer these questions openly and honestly. If you've been watching this whole time and you haven't left a question, now is the time to leave me a question. Tell me, what borough are you in? What challenge do you suffer from? And what question would you like to ask me when you visit? Also, tell me, does lockdown damage our mental health, and is it causing depression, especially amongst our younger generation? Also, are you struggling with mental health? And type down here in the comments, what are you struggling with? Anxiety? Is it loneliness? Is it depression? Is it suicidal thoughts? Please put them in the comments. I want to know what you're going with. It's very important to me. Next, I want to tell me, do you think it was right for the police to detain us, to stop us, to fine us and ban us from campaigning? And do you think it was politically motivated? And finally, I want you to tell me, do you think that free and fair elections should take place? Do you think we need new leadership, new vision, and new ideas to take London in a new direction? So I'm going to fix my mic here, and I'm going to go back and check your comments right now. And I want to find out. Answer these questions with me right now and tell me. Lots of things coming here on YouTube. I got C. Baroni that says, quote, watch out for all the ridiculous closed roads in Ealing. Then, when you get in as mayor, have a word with the greedy, useless morons in Ealing Council and tell them to scrap the LTNs, please, unquote. C. Baroni, I so much appreciate that comment. And again, I'm literally here live with you on these digital platforms, reading out a comment I've never read before. This is leadership like you've never seen it before. That's why I'm confident with your help, we will be your next mayor of London, because I'm here talking to you. I'm here accountable to you, having real conversations. And see, I was just in Ealing, and I just had conversations with probably 10 or 14 people on the sidewalk. We were socially distanced, and they said, Brian, we are tired of these low traffic networks. Every single person there was frustrated. They said they fine us because they're trying to make money off of us. They said the businesses are suffering. They said we suffer from the emissions. They had nothing good to say about it. And they said this. They said, Brian, we need to replace this current mayor of London. He sits there in the top floor of his glass City Hall building, and he makes these policies like low traffic neighborhoods, and he doesn't understand that they hurt the neighborhoods themselves. He doesn't understand the problems that they cause. And so I hear you. And I think we need to rethink all of these low traffic neighborhoods. Most of the people in these neighborhoods, they dislike them. They're tired of them. And I saw people that were angry and irate. And so I appreciate you bringing it up. And I appreciate the people of Ealing for coming out and telling me what it thought. We got Tim from Instagram that says, were you raised in America? And yes, you caught me. You caught the accent. I was born in San Diego, California, where right now people are on the beach surfing and getting sunburns. I know, it's hard to believe. It's a contrast to what you see behind me. The truth is, I've been in London for 21 years. I'm a citizen of this country. My children were born here, and I plan to be buried in this great city because it's the greatest city in the world. It's given me so much, and that's why I want to give back as your next mayor of London. I'm going to put my life on hold, my business on hold, everything on hold for 3 years in order to serve this city and solve so many of these problems that we're facing. So yes, I was born in America, and I will die in the UK. I got Lee Mitchell on Instagram that says, will you fight to open the fitness industry again? Yes, I will. That's why I appointed Nick Whitcomb as my special advisor on health and well-being. Nick was the guy who fought back up in Merseyside near Liverpool against the closings of gyms. He had 8 armed police officers come to his gym. He got 600,000 signatures on a petition. He went, and his case was heard in front of Parliament. And he has now allowed us to keep gyms open during Tier 3 lockdown. Now, that doesn't help during national lockdown, but I am with Nick Whitcomb. I go to the gym every single day. I train every day. And when gyms are responsible for only 1.7% of COVID transmissions, why are we closing them down? When our hospitality sector is responsible for 3% of COVID transmissions, why are we closing them down? When the woman I met on the street today, who is running her beauty parlor on Ealing High Street in a safe manner, is being shut down, I ask why? Why can't we find solutions? Isn't that the mayor's job? Isn't that his job? I think it is, and that's what I'm going to do as well. So it's a great question. I got Chelsea Dan on Instagram saying, I'm voting Brian Rose. Thank you very much. I've got Orimus on Instagram saying, quote, Brian, do you think the election is likely to be delayed again? I hope not. We ask for free and fair elections on May 6th, even if it's by postal vote. So please contact your council. Leave them messages, leave them things right now on their social feeds and say, how can we make elections happen on May 6th? It's very important. Either way, we will be standing as your next mayor. We expect to win, but we can only do it through your vote and your help and your support. Someone yesterday said, Brian, the whole system is rigged against you. Now, maybe that's true and maybe it isn't. We need to win anyways. To do that, you need to register to vote. We have to work 10 times harder than they do. So let's get out there, share our materials, print out our posters. That's the way we're going to do it. All right. Leela Sabrina on Instagram says, quote, the current mayor is too scared to debate you. Now, I don't know if that's true, Leela, but it's been 4 or 5 days now since I've challenged him to a debate and he hasn't responded. I haven't seen him respond to your comments on social media. Right now, I would say everyone do this. Go to his social media feeds and ask him right now, why won't you debate Brian Rose? Mr. Mayor, why won't you debate Brian Rose? Maybe he's got a good reason. I don't know. Ask him, but right now it seems like he is avoiding the debate, and let's going to see what happens from here. I got Ben Dennis on Instagram that says, you're awesome, Brian. Thank you, Ben. I think you're awesome. I think the citizens of London are the awesome ones. They're the ones out there that are pushing forward, that are moving forward regardless. So thank you very much. We've got Darren Stacy says, quote, I'm rooting for you, Brian. Thank you very much. We've got Let's Boogie on YouTube says, quote, Brian, I've been a follower since the Bulletproof Coffee days. So amazing to see you evolve. And Let's Boogie's talking about London Real. I've been broadcasting for 10 years on YouTube. And he's talking about 8 years ago, back in those days. So thank you so much. If people don't know about London Real, it's our YouTube channel, 500 million views, 5 million subscribers, over 1,000 incredible long-form interview broadcasts, all for free. You can go watch those. You know, we've been of service for the past 10 years, and as your next mayor, we're just going to continue that. So thank you so much. We've got Welsh Woody on YouTube that says, quote, Sadiq hasn't got a debate in him. He has destroyed London. That's from Welsh Woody, and you might have a point there. I mean, honestly, I don't think he stands a chance debating me, and I think he probably knows that, but let's give him a chance, all right? So again, you choose the venue, you choose the format. You can even find a moderator who is aligned with you and your party and your policies. Again, anytime, anyhow, anywhere, I'll be there. Let's debate the facts. Let's let the people decide. That's what I want more than anything. So thank you for that comment. One more I've got. Hi, Brian. It's Greg. Is there any way the public outside London can support you? Like tell all their London friends to vote with you, behind you all the way. It's a great point. The truth is this has turned into not only just a matter of London. Britain is watching, because London is the model for cities like Manchester, cities like Liverpool, cities like Bristol. But London is also the model for cities all around the world. Imagine if we can put into place these policies. New York City will learn from London. Los Angeles will learn from London. Cape Town, Paris, Madrid, Buenos Aires, Tokyo. Everyone around the world can support us for mayor. Going for brianformayor.london and share the website. You can go to our sharing page and download videos. You can post on your social media. You can donate to our campaign. You can get Brian for Mayor t-shirts. You can tell your friends about us. So yes, everyone can support us, and we appreciate this. This is a worldwide campaign. So thank you very much. A couple final comments here. We've got the Journey Greatest on Instagram that says simply, quote, Sadiq doesn't care. And it's a great point. Every single person I meet in the streets, and I kid you not, every single person, before I can even introduce myself, they say, oh, get this guy out of office. You can't be any worse than this guy. And so the truth is, most people say he just doesn't care. And that's the truth. I don't think the current mayor of London actually cares, and I think everything flows from that. If we can have a mayor that actually cares about our citizens. I love this city. It's given me everything. It's given me my business, my family, my happiness, everything. I owe this city so much, more than I could ever repay in 100 years as mayor. I still owe this city. I want to go in and do the right thing for the citizens. I want to do the best thing for London. And you need someone who actually cares. And I don't think our current mayor of London cares. So let's get a new one. That's what I would suggest. We got Legion on Instagram that says, quote, big love for caring about victims of knife crime. Legion, I've looked into this. I've done an entire 90-minute episode on knife crime. I've got specific statistics. I've got graphs. I've got everything that the current mayor of London has done wrong. Sadiq Khan, recently logged his 100th teenager murdered on his watch. It's unacceptable. I've spoken with senior members of the Metropolitan Police. I've spoken with senior community leaders. I've spoken with senior people on this topic, and they've all told me that my policies have a way out of this mess. And I will take action, and I can be held responsible for this in the future. So thank you so much. I appreciate your thoughts. And we've got Zach Brewster on Instagram that says, Brian is the GOAT. I'm assuming he means not the animal, but the GOAT, or greatest of all time. Honestly, I am here to serve you. I've got 12 detailed policies, each one with a video. They're all on my website, brianformayor.london. They all have a roadmap on getting London back to work, on putting our health first, on putting science first, on using real leadership, innovation, solutions to our problem, of using and acting on a proportionate response to the virus and making science-based decisions. That's what we're not doing here, and that's what the next mayor of London needs to do. That's why I am going to become your next mayor. On May 6th, if you vote, we can make this happen, or you get 3 more years of what the current mayor has brought you, and that's going to mean an increase in knife crime. That's going to mean more bankruptcy by the TfL. That's going to mean more affordable homes not being built. And that's going to mean probably the economy gets worse and worse and worse, which means our mental health deteriorates further, which means our younger generation loses help, which means they lose hope. They also means that our children are not getting back to school as well. So you can have 3 more years of this, or we can take London in a new direction. And I believe I have the best ideas out there. And I'll take ideas from Labour, Conservative, Liberal Democrats, the Green Party. I don't care where the idea comes from, but it has to be road tested. The numbers have to look correct. The experts have to agree. And then we pull the trigger on those ideas and we take London in a new direction. I have the best policies than any candidate out there. I am on the ground in the boroughs fighting against being arrested because I believe in the democratic policy and the whole democratic idea. And I believe in your right to choose free and fair elections. And I'm willing to be held accountable. Right now, I'm doing it live with your questions coming to me. This is politics like you've never seen it done before, because we are going to do politics in a new way. This is a completely different way of being held accountable via digital media, and that's why I'm out here with you in the boroughs. And so I just want to thank EALING. I want to thank all the boroughs we went through today. I want to thank Brent as well. I think as we're cruising through here and talking to you, I want to thank Mohammed in Hounslow for having us there. I want to thank you for the incredible work you do with your soup kitchen and giving out to other people. I want to thank Alan Simpson, at St. John Church for the incredible work you do in your charity in Ealing. And I want to thank Hillingdon for having us as well. All of these boroughs are important. Every borough has its unique challenge. And tomorrow we're going to be back out on the road visiting the incredible citizens of London. We all want to change. We all know we don't want 3 more years of this. And we're going to go forward with these new ideas and new policies, and we're super excited. So I want to say thank you so much. This is the Digital Battle Bus. If you've enjoyed this video, please share this with your friends. Leave me a comment below. Give me a like. Give me some love. The only way we're going to win this race is together. We can only win this together. It's going to really start from the ground. This is the people's race. We're not going to win this with the mainstream media. We're not going to win this with the two-party system. It has to come from the ground. We're going to do this digitally through social media in a way that no one has ever seen, but it means you got to get involved. I need your help. You can also come volunteer. Our whole volunteer campaign is kicking off next week, so come to brianformayor.london/volunteer. Sign up. Also, download and share our stuff. You can donate. You can get the swag and tell your friends about us. And I finally just want to say thank you so much. It's your energy that gives me the power and the spirit to come out here and do this every single day. I hope you like the bus. We're really enjoying this. We're really enjoying this digitally enabled stream. And again, it's a real honor to represent you. And I promise on May 6th, we are going to win, and we're going to take London in a new direction. We're going to show them that the best ideas win. No more of their two-party system where they sign off on each other's failure. No more corporate financing, corporate donations, no more career politicians, no more backroom deals. This is a new way of doing politics. It's politics for the people. And we're going to take London in a new direction, and I'm super excited. So thank you so much. I'm Brian Rose signing off from the Digital Battle Bus. We'll see you tomorrow for another broadcast of Battle Bus Live. Until then, take care, and thank you very much.